Hey, welcome everybody and welcome to All in All United. Your boys Reman Nick on the inside, and we're here to review, that victory that was so, much needed, coming off the two performances and the two losses against Arsenal and Istanbul Başakşehir, and we were seeing within the media how much pressure was under. Now, we don't know if the pressure was really there or whether it was just the media imposing that kind of pressure, whether that pressure came from the club and the club was really looking at Pochettino or different managers or looking at sacking Oli. We don't know. But we knew that against Everton, we needed a response from Oli and the team. And that we did. That we got. And this was a well-deserved and a well-earned victory as far as I'm concerned. We saw Nico Bruno out there giving his heart and soul. The desire, the drive. We could have seen he was leading from the front and the other players, the likes of Fred, the likes of McTominay, they were looking at Bruno and saying, well, hey, if Bruno doing it, then let me do it too. And we were seeing that kind of chemistry, that kind of drive, that kind of togetherness from that midfield tree, which was very important. You're always talking about the engine room, be it working effectively and properly for everything to work. And we saw the midfield work together well. I was so pleased to see on so much occasions Fred McTominay and Bruno closing down players. I always thought that we were so slow to close down players when they were attacking us. They were going into challenges, and I really appreciate that the referee allowed the game to play at a physical level now. He didn't blow for everything. He allowed certain things to go, which was good, and it encouraged our guys to push and play for it now. So I'm pleased with the victory. I'm not gonna get carried away because I know one of the most consistent things about us is our inconsistency. But the victory did us really, really well, and we go into the international break in good spirits. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think good night all, and all those who still coming. I think yes, as Reeves what I said was a well deserved victory. However, Reeves, I find we only playing when our backs against the wall. I think the Arsenal game we went in there as favourites. I think the whole world would have looked at us as favourites for that game, and we didn't show up. Same thing in Turkey, and the whole world again looked at us as the favourites, and we didn't show up. Against Everton and Everton away, yes, we know our away form has been good. However, our backs were against the wall because I think the favourites was for Everton to win, especially with the form Everton had and some of the players, especially James Rodriguez, coming back into the team, right, strengthening their team. I think everybody, especially because of the Istanbul and the Arsenal losses back to back, we went in with that game with our backs against the wall. And as you would have said, yes, we don't know if there's internal pressure on Oli, but I think the media naturally creates that pressure, and so we really went in there from captain to cook, with our backs against the wall and we responded. I think that has been the mentality we had to go into games, with our back against the wall, thinking that we are second best to win, because the moment you think we are the first best or the team that's supposed to win, I don't think we don't show up, and that is why, as you would have said, inconsistency within the team, and if you could get rid of that, yes, we know it would have bad results in between, but the levels, the different levels, the drop in levels is what is most alarming. So if you could maintain the levels, and if something happened, we get a draw, we get a loss, even maintaining that levels, we could say, all right, the opposing team, they played a good game, we got a lucky goal, a lucky penalty, whatever it is. Right, our own goal, but don't let me come out like how we did at Arsenal and how we came out at in Istanbul and get those results, because I think that will do well for our confidence, and I think even pressure again mounting back onto the team that you don't really want. So again, was an excellent performance. I think Bruno again led from the front. I think if it wasn't for Maguire when the armband, I think Bruno is our captain. Yeah, Bruno. Yeah, of course. I think Bruno is our captain. I think he led from the front, as you would have said. He almost covered every blade of grass. He led by example, and the other guys followed. So the former guys in, well, we can always get into that, but I think right now, I think Bruno is the real leader within this sport.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, as you said it there, Nico, the performances, not up to scratch. I mean, I think the fans, even though we know the victory and the 2 points is really what really matters. Sometimes the way we lose, is what has been so difficult for us to accept. Sometimes, I mean, I'm not making an excuse, or I'm not saying that we're going to accept losing, but the way we lose sometimes, boy, no performance, no kind of energy, no kind of drive, no kind of quality we're showing, And I think we were talking, I can't remember, I think it was after the Spurs game, we were talking about, Oli going with a more functional midfield as opposed to the type where we know we would have had the Matic and the Pogba, not saying that these guys don't have the quality and can't do the job, at any point in time. But with the kind of consistency that we're looking for, understanding the type of league that we're playing in, I think right now what we're seeing is what may be the best suited midfield, until we could get some kind of consistency, and then or we could tend to experiment a little more, right? But the way how the season starts, and I mean, I think you had mentioned it before in the last review. Let me try to stick with our 11 or stick with our system, see how it works, build some consistency, build the chemistry, let the team be confident doing something, and then you could tweak here and there as we go along and bring other players in,
Yeah, I mean, you would have hit the nail on the head. I think yesterday performance would have showed the system that we play with the two midfielders sitting. And we were talking just before. I think it's a similar system to even the Liverpool system, when Liverpool would play Henderson and when I love Henderson and Fabinho, and naturally they are deep line players. They may have a bit more quality going forward compared to maybe Fred and McTominay. Like Fabinho will allow me a level of consistency, and he's naturally very efficient. More than maybe a Fred or more than a McTominay, and McTominay is still young. I think I have a lot of faith in McTominay. Honestly, I think his performances has been impressing me. I think I saw some good things from him yesterday. I saw he played some excellent diagonal balls. He trying to mix up, he trying things different, and that's what you want to see. We always complain about him playing the ball back, most of the time. But yesterday I saw him play some balls and some nice diagonal Pogba style or Pogba type balls. He got you with some. He didn't get you with all. What I expected. So I think again, even Fred. If you look at the Fred performance yesterday, but Rashford, he created some chances for Rashford that he should have took. I mean? I think Fred had a real confident performance, and I think Fred confidence is building, and I think to me, he could have definitely been the man of the match yesterday. I think his grit and his tenacity was right up there. There wasn't even McTominay and him said when the entire midfield, Bruno, see Bruno would have gotten kicked a few times. We would have kicked people a few times too. Because and most of it happened in the midfield, where, as you would have said, the engine room is, and where that work had to put in, and where that grit had to enforce and our dominance in the midfield, and sometimes even physically. And I think yesterday we did that. I think a big compliment to Fred and McTominay, and I think that should be only platform going forward. And as we go along, you rest players in between. You don't rest 3 and 4 one time. But your rest players in between rotate, let the guys get comfortable with the system, and then, as you would have said, you tweak in between.
Yeah. Hey, Richard. So Richard on the inside of me, he's saying, I think it's because we're a young team, so we're struggling for that consistency. But I think Oli will get it soon enough. Well, I mean, the young team, yes, but it have plenty experience, I think one of the pundits have mentioned it before. Even though, for example, Rashford is only now 22, Rashford been playing for a long, long time. So the whole excuse of the young, I don't know if it would apply across the board now. I get it that is a young team. I get it that you'll gain consistencies. But I think we have enough players in the team with the kind of experience so that So that this excuse of inconsistency, though
experience is one, qualities are excellent. Experience is one, and sometimes the inconsistency with the quality now is what we don't have. We inexperience, and even the quality players that we have, they're not consistent with the quality.
I guess. Wayne, good night, buddy. Thanks for joining. He said
Good night.
he was not impressed when Everton scored first, but the game ended well for us. I think Nico said it before. We tend to respond when we go down. Because I'm telling you, going into the game knowing that we needed a result, and then to see us go down. I mean, I was like, oh gosh, already. And you were seeing Nico where Everton with Calvert-Lewin, who in good form this season, he targeted Lindelof, and then the kind of passive approach sometimes that tends to annoy me with Wan-Bissaka, trying to cover. And I mean, there was no way Bernardo was supposed to get away with our shot because De Gea had to cover his whole post. So he was expecting that little area that the ball would not slip through there now. I'm not making no excuses for anybody. I mean, De Gea, that is. But I think Bissaka should have done better and Lindelof should have done better because you saw throughout the game, Calvert-Lewin was going at Lindelof and he was winning all the duels in the air and on the ground, So I think those two guys needed to do a little bit better today for me.
Yeah, and that was route one football, because that ball played straight from Pickford, right? Which of course had to be planned, had to be rehearsed, right? Calvert-Lewin post up on Lindelof, knowing that Lindelof, he's nobody, right? Post up on Lindelof, long ball from the keeper, 40 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards down, right? Calvert-Lewin, let's lay it off. So cool and calm and comfortable. You have center back on your back, right? It looked like it had nobody there. Lay it off, and then again, Wan-Bissaka lazily, he had his languid, lazy style, lazily challenged, which to me, he challenged even with the wrong foot. He's so right-footed that to me, that should have been a left-footed challenge. He went the outside of his right foot. He could have even gotten damage that way. So he went lazily, and just because of the approach, and then turning your back on top of it, contributed to the goal, and that is just slack careless play on Wan-Bissaka part and Lindelof. That set us back, and that the entire game could have been different.
What I find real is like these footballers will always have me put my foot in my mouth because today Lindelof will go be real poor, and we go at Lindelof, and rightly so, But we go, but sometimes because we so emotionally charged, we go extreme with the criticism, man. We go say, hey, don't say something again for this team, and then he'll come next game and he'll be the best defender on the pitch because, and I say that because now we go into Maguire, who I thought had a very decent game yesterday.
You know why? Because that's the type of game he tries in. Games where he defend deep. Right? And that was happening a lot of the time because the moment we went 2-1 up, we were defending deeper and that is his playground. The moment that it has space behind his back for a striker to run against him, that is where he is weak. So anytime our back against the wall where teams attacking us, Maguire would shine. The moment we control in possession and he had to turn and run facing his goal, that's where he would struggle.
Okay, good point. So I just try to be consistent, Nico, with my concerns and my criticisms. Right now, I was high in praise at the start of the review today. I was high in praise of our midfield performances, right? But I have a little issue, Nico. I still find our passing decisions, we still not passing to win games. I still feel like our passing, especially with midfield, and I'm going to go in a little bit of McTominay here. I still find hear me now. I still find 90%, if not 95% of McTominay passes is always for a draw as opposed to winning a game. Now I understand you argued, many times before that McTominay have a specific role to play, and is to keep the ball and wherever and wherever and wherever. And I don't have an issue with that. But what I'm saying is, in situations where you want more from your midfield, I find one, we delay too much on the ball. Sometimes there are passing options that are open up, and because we take too long or we choose the wrong pass, we give the opponents time to recover and reset and restructure in terms of the defense. And as a fan, I am looking at it and I'm saying, but why we didn't make this choice as well instead? Why we didn't go for this option instead? And I've seen it happening time and time again, game after game. And a lot of guys on the inside know as well that I don't only watch Man United play. I watch many other teams play to see midfielders finding passes. Sometimes the spaces don't be open for long. And when you dilly-dally on a ball, you lose the opportunity to play a ball through and to create something. And this is one of my issues with our midfield. Sometimes I feel that our midfield there just to play for draws, when we could do more. Now, whether they, because of the lack of confidence in the guys, maybe with more games under McTominay and Fred Belt, we might start to see more. I don't know. But knowing these two guys, we take too long and we lose better passing options for the safer pass. I have no issue with wanting to recycle and keep possession. But sometimes I see the likes of Marcus Rashford, sometimes I see especially Martial, sometimes Bruno, even Mata would make runs, and Mata is one of the, for me, Mata, his movement, plenty of other players had to learn from this talented movement in the final third. And they will turn back and they will look for Maguire, they'll look for Lindelof, or they'll go across. And them things for me, frustrating because we lose plenty of opportunities. We give, as I said before, we give the opponents time to get back and set back up the defensive structure. And that is 0-0. That 0-0 midfield passing.
I hear you, and I agree with you 100%. But I think that is the best.
You can't agree with me 100% and then the ball but well, go ahead.
It's the best we have at the moment. It's the best, because I tell you honestly, Pogba will actually the forward pass, right? Pogba would have might play a better pass, but is Pogba the player wanting the team right now? No, and blunt as that. So according to what we have right now, that's the best we have right now, right? So we're doing the best
functionally
with what we have, right? Because even functionally, however you want to look at it, it has nobody else but on the bench to do that job right now. To do that job and do it competently. Right? I don't trust nobody else who is on the bench at the moment to give us anything close to what Fred and McTominay giving us. Right? And to give us that structure and that confidence for the front 3 or 4, right? To go out and execute. Because as I said before, that's what Liverpool doing. Liverpool had the 2 men sitting on the front 4 and they're scoring and they're winning games. Right? So we could do that too, because that is the best that we have. And that is all going on. The moment we get something better, I would agree that as long as that person could come in and deliver those timely passes, get the passes going forward with quality, right? Playing through the lines, having vision to see and pick out a pass early. I agree. Change whoever, right? If Fred is the one out of form, change Fred. If McTominay is the one out of, right? But the moment we don't have that, I think what we have now is what working for us, right? But great point, excellent point.
Yeah, and you see my concern with that is because if we keep going that way, then we will become very, very predictable, and people will know that everything going through a particular player, and it will be easy to figure us out. And I don't want it to happen because here.
Go ahead.
Because one of the things I noticed is, at the back end of last season when we had started in that good run of form, we played really, really well for a couple games. We were unbeatable. We were playing teams of the park, and then teams figured out how to nullify that, press us high, and then we had this struggle. You understand what I'm saying? So the Premiership is the kind of game where managers are very, very tactical and they know how to counteract, a particular game plan that a team might set out to, with. So all I'm saying is we have to have game changers, and people who could affect the game in different areas of the pitch. Everything cannot be going through Bruno. Yes, we know Bruno in form. Yes, we know Bruno. Yes, we know Bruno will work hard and he will do what he had to do. But we've also been seeing the past couple of games as well, where Bruno felt he had too much and he was getting wary. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, teams will start to focus on Bruno, and then we'll have nothing, and then you'll see McTominay and Fred playing ping pong with themselves.
And to me, that is where your wing backs come into play. I think that is your wing backs. Well, I know we struggle in that department, right? But your wing backs now, because I just using Liverpool as a reference because they play a similar formation that we'll be playing right now, right? But most of their potential comes from the wing backs. So so yes, they might have the two midfielders, central midfielders, right? But they have quality on the wing backs that has created a lot of problems. And I think that is what we don't have. I think Shaw yesterday again was good. You know what I mean? He wasn't perfect, but he was good. I think he delivered an excellent cross for Bruno's goal. A follow up from Istanbul. Again, it showed that Shaw coming into a better form. Unfortunately, he got injured yesterday. Not for too long. I don't know if you heard anything about that. But that is where we had a target. We had a target our wing backs going forward and delivering quality. Because you saw it in Istanbul and you saw it again yesterday. Right? If let's get some quality going forward, sure, get quality going forward, and we had that stability inside there. We have created a lot of problems, but we don't go down that left side enough. He don't deliver enough crosses enough because look, you can say almost 2 crosses, almost 2 goals from Shaw. Right? So if we get that consistency with our wing backs going up and delivering quality crosses, I think we could break down more defenses at least in different ways. So yes, we most of the time let's go to the center, but now if you have quality coming from the wings, at least well, you have a check there also. So you have a check coming down the wings and they could play from the middle. So so you had that variance. But for now, unless they continue to deliver with that quality, we would struggle for goals.
All right. Richard saying here, we might think that's why Oli trying to get different systems working. Yeah. But what we're saying, Richard, is we had to be confident and we had to see some kind of consistency with one system, where the fella's comfortable. But I get that point because sometimes one system might, because as Nico was saying, the 4-2-3-1 might favor, that kind of 2 defensive midfielders, while our next, like the 4-2 diamond might allow for Pogba, and a Fred and Bruno, while in the normal 4-2-3-1 to have, Pogba and Fred may not really give us the kind of solidity defensively that we want. Even though I was telling Nico earlier that I would like to see Oli, give some time to the same formation and the same team that would have started against Sevilla in the Europa League. Fred and Pogba in the midfield and Bruno. So it's like the 3-man midfield will be Fred, Bruno, and Pogba. Yeah, I would really like to see that given some time again because I was liking what I was seeing when they were playing that game. I still think Pogba far from that level, but with games he getting back and the fact that he have him coming off the bench, you're seeing he trying to graft a little bit now, because he pick up for grabs. So but that's something I would like to see,
Yeah. Reason I think about again is a half chance. Well, to me, it's more than a half chance. It's about a 75% chance. That chance that Marshall got, that he hit wide early. The one I think was Fred put over, Marshall took down and took it with his left foot. To me, and that was even before Everton scored, I think that was an excellent chance that we should be bagging.
Yeah. I think he rushed it. Even though I think in those kind of situations as a striker, you had to be a little more in control of yourself now, because I thought that he saw it was a chance and he didn't know how long he would have had it. Because remember, under other circumstances, you would have beat a defender and then strike. But because it was off a set piece, you would have had so much players around here. You know, if it took long, it could have get taken off here. So for me, it was one of those kind of snapshots that he needed to take. He could not wait, he could not ponder, because I watched over the game. And if you looked at it, after he swung, the defender came. So if he had taken a second touch at all, he would have lost the opportunity.
I don't think he had time to take a second touch.
Right.
I think he had a little more time to compose himself with that shot.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think
it
needed a snapshot.
I think it was, I agree, right? But another touch, no. I think a split second extra to compose to shoot. I think that is just what I understand, because it was a free kick. The ball was coming back and then the ball came back in. You know, so of course with that confusion, not knowing where all the players are defensively, the defenders are, you know, you think you're rushing them. You know, but I give it an excellent chance. With excellent chance, I thought he should hit the target at least. But I definitely wouldn't crucify him for it.
Yeah. I thought he should have hit the target at least as well. You know, at least I hit the post. At least I graze off the post if you're not going to score. You know, but under the circumstances, you know, when I sat back and I thought about it and I saw it a second time, understanding the circumstances. But then again, you know, I don't want to make too much excuses for a striker playing for Man United. You know? Richard saying Tellez coming in time for the West Brom game. That's correct. You know, and that's the thing, eh? Go ahead, Nico.
Yeah, and I think there's ideal time for Tellez. You know what I mean? Yes, we know Shaw might be out. Maybe we had 2 weeks. We had 2 weeks of the international break. Then West Brom, I think, is an excellent game for him. I think we would need his quality for West Brom more than anything else, because I looked at the Spurs West Brom game today, and defensively they were a real good shape. You know, attacking wise, I don't think they are much of a threat. But again, against United, anything does happen. You know, players will come with the best. But defensively, they were a real good shape. So I think for us to break them down, it will be very difficult to break them down through the middle. You know, so I think Tellez coming down that left side with the quality he has, I think that might end up being the trick to break that West Brom deadlock. And I think if we break that, if we could break that early in the game, I think it could be floodgates.
Right, and I'm glad you bring up that, Nico, because one of the things I noticed with the game with West Brom today is I had known watching the game and even seeing the time going down, I had known that Spurs were going to score. Simply because I saw the defense, they were tiring. And that's because Spurs kept it coming. And this is one of the things I was noting earlier. Because we tend to play so much of our football with passive passes in the midfield, you're always given a defense time to breathe. Spurs were not doing that. It was coming wave after wave. They were running West Brom to the ground till I was seeing a lot of misplaced passes because those guys were tired. That West Brom defense was knackered because Spurs was coming at them.
Is this the midfield?
Yeah.
Midfield, they couldn't get a pass right.
Right. So what I'm saying is, and that is what lending to the point I was making earlier. We spend too much time holding the ball in the middle of the park when we're not threatening the backline and we're not giving defenders work to do. You know? So that's something I would like to see. I think the point you make about Tellez coming back, and hopefully, who knows, maybe Cavani might get a shout in that game. He might get a little more time if all he chooses not to start him. But we need to put more pressure on a defensive line. I find I'll say it again because it's something I'm lamenting for quite some time yet. Our midfield, if we go with that double pivot with Fred and Max Scott, too much time them fellas will be playing for draws, right? And I want to see more, and that's all I asking for. And it was evident today. And you know, as I saw it, I was going to message and tell you, you know. But I'm glad you bring it up. So let me hope that we're able to, if let's just say our game plan is not to do that and, you know, to break them down, break through the middle with ability and skill and pass as well, then if that's where it is, well, that's where it is. But I'm saying
that would be frustrating. That would be frustrating. Because as you always say, we take too long and allow teams to reshape, you know, and as we have said before, these are top teams, I mean, international players. So, you know, by the time you make them get back into shape, it's very difficult to break down. So yes, let me pressure them as much as possible. But I think a lot and the work should come from the wing backs, especially for that West Brom game. You know, just try to keep them back and get us crosses coming in. So at least when we start to pull out players to mark the wing backs, it will have more space inside. For like we say, if you had to go through the middle, it will have spaces to maybe play a through ball for players to run on to. So we just had to get the threats, you know what I mean, potent. You know, let me get the work from the wing back as potent as possible, and that will create the space within the team to break down teams.
Right. Nigel, welcome, buddy. He said, do you all think we play two defensive mids because of our two central defenders aren't that good? Which means you lose one more attacking player. I think so.
And I agree. And I agree with that, right? But I think, and again, I'm going back to the Liverpool team. Liverpool had been successful doing it. Yes, we have more efficient players, but they're sacrificing that attacking player. Yes, we have more quality on the wing backs, but they do the same thing and they get it done. All I say is, let me just get more from our wing backs, and I think that system could work for us. And I don't think we need that because with the front three we have, together with Bruno, right? I think we have enough there to break down teams.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but then you see what Liverpool did, Nico, is because I think you're forgetting when they brought in Fabinho, and then it's have Van Dijk, I think those two signings was very, very key for them in terms of their defensive structure and keeping clean sheets and winning games, and not conceding.
But they're still playing with the two.
I
can't remember seeing Liverpool with one central midfielder. Like, what I mean?
Yeah, Fabinho.
Yeah, but he always play with somebody else. If it's a hand or one all down.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Nico, I want to ask you about.
You still on the game?
Sorry?
You still on the game?
Yeah. I want to ask about Luke Shaw. Right? Now you talk about Luke Shaw. Now, for me, defensively, Luke Shaw is solid. I still, and if watch me earlier, I go song like a record stick because it's the same thing I see. I don't see much improvement. I mean, he got the assist for our last two goals, one against Istanbul and then against Everton with the crosses. Superb. But I've seen how plenty plays breaking down with Luke Shaw going forward. Sometimes his passing decisions, his ability to be intricate. And I know we established that is just not Luke Shaw, right? But Luke Shaw defensively, solid. I like what I see in terms of his defensive output. Now, the fact that Luke Shaw pulled this injury means that Tellez coming. Now, a little bit concerned. Now, I know you were saying, don't worry about that. But Tellez now coming into our league, because remember his debut was in Champions League. He played Champions League before, so it's nothing new to him. I don't think there's really much of an adjustment to that competition or type of football that he would require. However, we already know that the Premiership is a different kind of beast. Right? About he will go and he'll fit in the Bundesliga, he'll go and fit in La Liga. But the Premiership is a different kind of beast. Especially defensively, with your defensive requirements, because we know what is required. Now, we all know, looking at Tellez, he is better than Shaw going forward. But I get the feeling that he's unproven in the defensive sense in the Premiership. So a little bit concerned. I was hoping that when Tellez would have come into the team for the Prem, that it would have still had Luke Shaw there, to kind of win him in, give it a kind of rotation. So, we go see and we'll know that, if Alex Tellez, don't really work out in one game, we could bring back Luke Shaw and all right, so he learned from that one. Let me hope next game he could pick up. But now it's like we're throwing Alex Tellez into the deep. Because as I said before, the Premiership is a different kind of beast. And if Tellez don't work defensively, we could see plenty openings and we could get punished on that side. I don't know if that is a concern for you.
Not really, yeah. Not really, because I think one, he has played for as a left back for his entire career. Two, he's a Brazilian international. Yes, we know Brazil in the past have not placed much emphasis on more defensive type left backs, right, or left wing backs, right. But I think even Brazil now has changed their style of football where the defenders defend well, So I think in mere fact he's a Brazilian international, and even playing games, it's not like he just going for the plane ride and not getting a game. You know what I mean? I think most of the games that he went to play with Brazil, he came off the bench at least. With Brazil leading. Again, I guess maybe that might play into his hands. And even at the game, I think it was Bolivia, or I can't remember the last game they played. The game was still 1-1, I think, when he came on.
It was 2-1 when he came on.
Okay, right? And again, just to bring him on even at 2-1, which still is a risky scoreline, right? And still to bring him on, right? I think that shows that even the Brazilian coach has confidence in his defending, because at that position it's hard to defend, because I don't want to go 2-all and change the whole game. So defensively, I honestly don't see an issue, and I think even the game against West Brom is even a better game, because I seen where we would be dominating possession. So yes, he could be exposed, but I don't think there's a better time than now to play tennis. I don't think there's a better time than now. I think he'll do well.
But I'm glad you bring up the game against Bolivia, because when Bolivia, no, it's Bolivia or I think it's Peru,
Yes,
anyway,
Peru. Exactly, Peru.
Right. No, when Telles have come on for that game, Nico, Telles starting position, right, was closer to the halfway line, because when and that's my concern, and let me bring in Simeon as we're talking on this, right? Simeon, thanks for your comment. Welcome, buddy. He's saying I'm more worried about his communication with Maguire. Maguire, who does do his own thing sometimes.
And I agree. I agree with 100%.
And then he's talking about the backline organization is always a concern, right? I don't want to go worrying about something that's may not be a concern, but even beyond Maguire and beyond our lack in organization or lack thereof, I still a little bit concerned about Telles and his defensive abilities in the Premiership. You talk about Brazil, even though now more than before, Brazil, focusing a little more on being defensively solid, but you still see that their wing backs or their defense, their left back and right back, they are very, very high up the pitch, and it's the midfielders who come and cover. So, I don't know. I just playing it out there because, a little bit concerned. I would have preferred seeing that, Luke Shaw was in this such nice little vein of form in terms of his defensive contribution. It would have been better to kind of phase in Telles, rather than just throw him into the deep, which we might possibly see if Luke Shaw doesn't recover, But that is about that, So let's see how it goes. But definitely in the attacking sense, we will see more quality going forward.
Yeah. In yesterday's game, I think especially even for the first goal and the second goal, I think the interplay was real good from us. I think that was something we haven't been really seeing. I don't know, for some reason Everton really gave us that space to play now, and we really saw some quality in our interplay with the forward players. We like Bruno, we like Rashford, especially. I don't know how Rashford missed that goal. Well, that header. Yes, we glad it scored, but as a centre forward, you had to be taking them thing. Right? You had to be taking them thing. But the interplay and how, if you look at Rashford movement, how he was able to find space in between the both central defenders, and he even started the play, a nice ball through the lines from Fred up to Rashford to Bruno, through the lines, you know what I mean, and it's perfect pass from Bruno. I think that's the quality you want to see more. You know, I think yesterday it had some real nice link-up play, and Rashford should have definitely scored that goal. You know, but we had some real decent play yesterday. Even when Shaw played the ball over for Bruno header, right, for Bruno goal, I think again it had a real decent interplay in that play also.
I don't want to stretch it, you know, because people go say agenda and whatever, but I don't know how much people, and I'm saying this because I watch over the game, and when I watch over the game, I'm less emotionally charged now. So I can watch things a little more composed and observe other things, you know. And for that goal, the second goal, what Bruno scored, I thought Rashford was, I mean, he did enough to throw Pickford off, but it would have looked so much better if he got ahead on it. I still don't think Pickford would have said that if he got ahead on it, you know?
Yeah, of course not.
But the first goal, you know, the ball came over. My boy did well because I mean on social media, Martial went in for a lot of criticism, you know. So I just want to point out a couple of things now because I thought that yesterday Martial was decent, you know. I mean, even though, you know, we expect more from him with the kind of quality that he has. But sometimes I believe a player could be decent without being world class, you know. Without or I'm gonna put it like this, it could be decent without being brilliant or without being poor, you know. And I think people were a little bit critical of Martial yesterday in terms of him, and Martial was poor. And because Cavani came on and scored against the runner play with a ball that was laid on the platter for him, all of a sudden Martial should be dropped and Cavani should play. You know, and I'm going to see that because people not taking time to understand that football have a lot more in it. And the two goals that we scored, Martial contributed without even, you know, without it even being noticed. The first one. Hold on. Nico, wait to watch it back, dog. You know, Martial win that ball against Michael Keane. He shake off Michael Keane, play it, come back, take it back, play it forward. And that's the matter, and that's how that play starts. The second goal, put his name Mason Holgate. Draw Mason Holgate out of the box. And that's what give Rashford that free space, you know. And people don't see them kind of thing, dog. Watch it back all here. Watch it back. Anyway.
Right? But to be, I think with Martial in the team, our entire shape and our entire structure is more solid. You know, he actually is the first defender really, and he actually does that. He actually sees him doing the work now, where he's actually pressuring. Because you know that was a big thing long time. Martial never used to work hard enough and all that. I think that is technical. That is out the door. I think he does a lot of hard work. I think he does a lot of running. I think he occupies defenders. He have defenders on the toes thinking, and just that alone adds to our defensive structure. And I think he did that excellent again, right? You saw that in the games when he won there, right? You saw where he was lacking that presence, you know, and that presence has given you that defensive solidity from the front. You know, so I think he really brought that back to the team, and you saw it yesterday, and it was definitely a plus because we had a base and a foundation to build on, right? Because what he would have been doing, he would have been holding off defenders, holding up the ball, and also winning fouls, right? And taking the team higher up the field, you know, with more control. You know, so I think he did that yesterday. I think he's always do that. Even in the Champions League game, he also did that. You know, we struggled because we were so deep. You know, it was so easy for Skirtle and him to mark, you know, because we were sitting so deep and they're so stagnant. And he still scored, you know, but that it still shows his importance to the team. You know, maybe when Cavani is fitter, you know, Cavani might be able to play that role also. But for now, I think he's the best player for that position.
But not only that, Nico, and thanks very much. I appreciate, you know, But what people not understanding as well, because people watching the different positions on the field, the likes of Rashford will see a lot more the ball. The likes of Mata will see a lot more the ball. Bruno will see a lot more the ball. But Oli wants his forward to stay forward. There was so many times when Marcel would drop to the ball and you would hear Oli saying, Anto, get into the box. You know what I'm saying? And there was an interview some time ago where Oli was saying he knows his centre forward will not see much of the ball, but that's what he wants them to be in the box and take the chances when they come to them. And it's something that he even pointed out that Igalo did in the early. He said, I know that they wouldn't see much of the ball, but Igalo was always ready for when something came to try to take advantage of it. So sometimes you will not see the number 9 all involved in the game, but Marcel will still try to defer from that and still come and try to get involved. But the kind of involvement that Marcel gets is not the kind of people understand to see and say, well, hey, he was playing a number 9 role, and as you were saying, Nico, he was occupying defenders, he was pulling players out of spaces, he was winning fouls. People not seeing these kind of things. Anyway, Simeon saying, Kerm, the United standard for strikers of Vans, yes, Rooney, York in his prime, at least the fans' standards. Yeah, but I don't know. I think the fan base changed plenty because we have a lot of younger people now, and everybody watching Messi, everybody watching Lewandowski, and they're understanding different things. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know if that was the point, but in terms of maybe being able to find that more regular, I think the Vans and the Rooneys and the Yorks, maybe that's, I don't know, but
what my argument would be, if that was the point, is we can't compare service that those guys used to get compared to what Marcel getting it. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I think most of his chances, I think he, even if he doesn't score, he takes them well. I think even some of the chances that Rashford had yesterday, I think if it fell to Marshall would have took it. The one I think Rashford, that shot where he take down and he shoot, he hit it clean, but without that finish where the goalkeeper is in spaces now. So I think Marshall had a bit more. Rashford in a better form. But I have no issues with Marshall right now. I want him in the team every game, to be honest.
Yeah. So Nico, being a referee, right? And people keep saying that we get so much calls from VAR, we shouldn't complain, but I don't care about that, right? If something happened that requires a penalty, a foul, whatever, give me my thing, right? Now, with your opinion or with your viewpoint from a referee's perspective on Pickford's challenge on Maguire?
No, Maguire foul him.
Maguire foul Pickford?
Of course, Maguire foul him. So if Maguire didn't foul him, then I might say, all right, penalty. Maguire pushed down the man. You didn't see that one? Check it back. Maguire pushed down the man. Pickford had no chance of doing nothing. Maguire pushed down the man, and the man gave up to try to recover. At the end of the day, foul. Maguire pushed down the man. That is it. Yeah. But if he didn't push him down, I'd say penalty. But you see, the moment I see the push, I say, well, nah, Maguire foul him. I stop watch after that.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Clear push down. It was clear as day. It was clear. No referee in the world when they were back on VAR would have given us a penalty because that push down was clear as day. The man hold hand on the man's chest and as a goalkeeper. As a goalkeeper with a defender hand on your chest and you fall down. Right? You wouldn't get away with that at all.
All right, fair enough. All right, so I think this will be our last point. I don't know if Nicole have anything else that he wants to talk about. But post-match, he brought up a very interesting point. And I think it was more of our...
Before I reach that, I think you end with that, right? Do you think again, one criticism of Oli, it takes too long to make his changes? I think Mata was on for too long, right? Have
Yeah.
played over hour in Turkey, right? On Wednesday, and you had him on for over hour. When you know he tiring, you know we more or less was preserving our lead at that time. Mata should not have been on for so long. You know what I mean? I think if a goal is scored, I think Oliver definitely had to take some blame for that because he hadn't know how to manage his squad. He had to watch, he hadn't know that Mata trying to replace Mata with fresh legs. Because Mata starting the game short on legs. Right? So when you carry it on for so long with Mata on the field, then he becomes a liability defensively. So I think Oli has to know when to make his changes, you know. It had no reason for Mata to stay on so long. So I think that's something Oli had to learn and try to improve on his substitutions. You know, and the times of the substitutions and the substitutions he making at that at the moment, he really had to. I don't know if it's somebody is telling him what he is seeing, but it doesn't be intelligent decisions at times.
Yeah, and I think we message each other during the game and we say, why Mata still on? Mata need to come off now, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I was watching one of the post-game analysis shows now, and somebody noted that, but they were saying Oli has his favorites in the team as well, because they were pointing out, and it's only as you're talking about it there, I remembered Rashford. He spoke before about Rashford having so much games under his belt, but yet I felt that Rashford could have been one to come off as well because he was seeing where some of Rashford's decisions on the ball probably may not have been the best. You had the likes of Dan James, you could have bring on, you know, I mean, and at that point in time, you're looking to run down the game too. So you can follow more energy, right? And if we go to talk about quality in the final third, I mean, Rashford throughout the game didn't really offer that much with his decisions. So I could argue for the sake of energy that, you know, up and down the pitch, we could get Daniel James or even Beak a shot, you know, because even after the game, Rashford didn't look, or Rashford looked like he was carrying a knock, right? He had some ice packs on him.
So, I think that was the show.
Right. So some people were questioning as well Oli's substitution decisions, you know, whether it was because, you know, Oli had favorites and they felt that he wasn't protecting some of his players, and then he came after the game to rant on what I'm going to talk about now, right? Now, what Oli was saying, and Klopp after his game today came and, you know, agreed with Oli. Oli went on Pep as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So Oli was saying that he felt as though the powers that be, you know, have an agenda against Man United simply because you play Wednesday, you went to Turkey, you're landing in Manchester Thursday morning to play the first game 12:30 hot sun, you know, on Saturday morning. He found that, you know, it wasn't helping his team. It wasn't helping, you know, in terms of the players and their fitness, because he alluded to the fact that we lost Luke Shaw because of that, you know, and then even Rashford, you know, he was alluding to Rashford as well, you know, carrying something because of these kind of games and the close spaces between the games. He was saying we're going to need international break, so why it is we couldn't play Sunday? Man City and Liverpool play Tuesday and they play on Sunday. You understand what I'm saying? They played in the Champions League on Tuesday and they play Sunday, second to last game. We play Wednesday, reach back into Manchester Thursday morning, and we play the first game Saturday. You know?
Yeah. Things like that, Reams. I don't know.
Because he said that they contacted the FA, you know, in an effort to.
So my point is this: I don't know if teams can make a stand to them thing and say, "Here, we rather lose 3 points than play." And I think that would be a stand against these things because it is unjust. It comes like players are just a piece of meat, you know, that, you know, it's don't care about, you know, and now the FA doing. So if it is so that let me say the Premier League don't even care about the own players, you know what I mean, the health and safety of players, then if it is your health and safety of your players is at risk, then to me, team should make a stand. Team should make a stand and say, okay, because of the schedule, we are not playing. And Manchester United make a stand like that. Then what you see how things will change.
Yeah,
right?
but you see, Nico, the flip side to that.
That's what has to happen.
But the flip side to that now is it how these things set up. The FA will find the club, and you'll find yourself now you trying to make a stand, but then you have to pay £75,000, £80,000 because you didn't show up for a match day. You don't know what these kind of fines would look like. So that's the problem. So it's like you're between a rock and a hard place.
Nah, but at the end of the day, I should have got to court and fight that. Because let me tell you why, and let me tell you on the stance, right? Because professional athletes, right, is you just know play, right, rest and play again. No, right? So you play a game, you go through a recovery, right? And from the recovery, you do a pre-match, and after the pre-match, you do a game, and that's the minimum. That is minimum 4 days, right? So you could go to court and even fight that. That is not healthy for players, right? And Premier League could lose. So that is my point of view. My point of view is that teams should make a stand against it, and at least a stand that they have a say, right, in when these kind of schedules are being made. And the FA just do, and the Premier League just do send out fixtures, and you have to stand by that. But however, you send only fixtures and say, here what we have games, so and so and so, right? Can this game be moved, right, to this date? To have that, to be able to have that conversation, to be able to make that kind of change. Because if it's just a one way, a bully thing, wherever I say goes, then to me, action should be made against that.
Yeah, and you could say, and the motivation behind it was really TV revenues, because they're looking for a game to put in that slot, and for them to reschedule at that last minute request, it would have they could have lose millions now.
That's their last minute request because the schedule.
Yeah. But
even though we play in Istanbul from since when?
Yeah.
Weeks in advance.
Yeah,
right?
But I think
it will be hurt in the pocket. So if it's hurt in the pocket, then you would, all right, well, let me sit down and let me discuss this. But if you go ahead and you play, and that's my argument right too. If every week when you get a fixture, we're complaining about it, sit down and play. Don't complain, let's play. Right? Or make a stand for something.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's something. I guess that's something that probably the Premier League clubs might have to come together and stand against, because sometimes one voice may not give you the kind of impact that you want to see, the kind of change that you would need now. So you really need a united front.
Yeah, Pep would have said that he would have talked about the fixtures, and then he said, look, England lose the international player Trent Alexander today. Right? And that's what he has said. He said, look, England lose Trent today. Right?
Yeah.
And still you would have gotten a favorable rest in comparison to United. So I think teams had to make a stand and at least try to protect the players.
Yeah. Well, I guess that brings us to the end of our review. We know it's a day late, but we're here nonetheless. Thanks for those who would have joined in. Thanks for the comments, guys. Nico, closing remarks.
Yeah, a good result, to really take into the international break. I think, going forward, to me, let me do get complacent. I said it the last time. I said, let me do get complacent. Let we, at West Brom to the sword. West Brom is that team struggling. When don't experiment unless you have to. That is my thing. If you have to, you have to. If you don't have to, let me just try to keep it solid, try to continue to win games. We're doing very good away from home, but we started getting the home victories on our belt to start to ease even that pressure, because even the next game we don't win at home, that next set of pressure again. That you don't want. So I think the board is backing Oli. As much as the turmoil on the outside looking like fire on the outside, I think on the inside is calm and nice. Well, I'm hoping so. I really hoping for the best for Oli, because the whole world against Oli, ESPN especially. I don't know what ESPN have against Oli, that Arteta get trashed today and they will still talk good about Arteta, right? And Arsenal. As somebody saying that's jealousy against United. I think it was Maguire. Maguire says just jealousy. over the success of United over the years. But I think that we come out and next game against West Brom, let we do what we had to do. Istanbul, let we continue to let we win against Istanbul. That'll be a home game, and from there I think we get a run going. We have a game in hand. We could end up on top of, I mean, at least in the top of the season, the top 6.
Yeah. I think ESPN have an agenda against Manchester United, and Oli is Manchester United, so he in line. If tomorrow, anybody who take charge, they gonna be under the better end of the stick with ESPN, so whatever. My thing is, the mentality, we saw mentality yesterday, and we want that to continue. That complacency, we need to eradicate that. We need to treat every opponent as a final, because we're not out of, for me, we're not out of the ready yet. Going into this international break with 14th in the table, that's unacceptable. So I am hoping one.
But then Southampton first. Is Southampton? No, I think Leicester first now. Okay.
Yeah. So my first, wish is and hope is that we come off this international break unscathed. All our players come back without any injuries. And we get done and get working to better in our home record this season, because we know the next 2 games is at home. We have not been good at home. From what I saw today again with West Brom playing Spurs, I was a little bit pleased seeing that West Brom didn't just sit back low block against a informed Spurs team. I thought they went on and they tried to play, which with kind of encouragement, hope that they don't come and low block us, because we know a low block team can frustrate us. And any team that comes to play football, we know the chances higher. We're not play it like that. And then as you say, Istanbul, let us get our win, get the 3 points on the board to ease more pressure now. Most importantly, no injuries on international break. Come back ready to climb that table. So guys, thanks again for joining. At least this 2 weeks not going to be one where we worrying about the loss and be frustrated. At least there's some positives to look at, and we can look back at the game and enjoy the moments. Bruno Fernandes, Fred, So McTominay. He played role well. He did what he had to do. So have a good night, everyone. See you all in 2 weeks.